Household cleaning was very different in the early 1900s. But of course, who cleaned, how long they cleaned, and what was cleaned differed wildly. If you're more affluent, you may have had a whole staff dedicated to regular cleaning and cleaning of things we either no longer use today or no longer use as much as we used to. Wood-burning cook stoves, horse stalls, carriages, mudrooms, silverware made from actual silver, the list goes on and on. Even middle-class households often hired a maid or cook to help distribute the workload of maintaining a regular household, especially one with children. Side note, this is where you get the mammy figure from. Most middle-class households would hire African-American maids, nannies, and cooks to help keep costs down since it was legal to pay people of color less, especially women of color. Typically, your help was only white if you were well off. In the 1900s, most modern cleaning products and machines were far off. Your laundry was done by hand, you had to use a carpet sweeper for cleaning carpets or rugs, and while Clorox disinfectant solution was on the market, Clorox wipes and cleaning spray won't be seen for many years, and the soot and ash from the near-constant fires was everywhere. Even if I were to try to narrow down the list of things I would have to go without or replace to only things that two lower middle class men would use or need, it would still be quite a bit. And instead of making a very long video going into the history of each product or device I would need to forgo, I'm going to do a typical spring cleaning, but with only using products that would have been available to me. To help me along with my spring cleaning, I'll be using Household Discoveries and Mrs. Curtis's Cookbook. This book, while technically a 50s reprinting of a book published in the 1910s, is a compilation of previous publications from a popular home magazine. A lot of the advice printed here would have been used by housekeepers across America in the early 1900s, and since I get home about 2 hours before Sean, that makes me the main housekeeper. Of course, I'll be using modern day knowledge on these suggestions to help guide what I actually apply to my cleaning routine. Ah yes, formaldehyde, a perfect disinfectant. I start with the utility room. This is an area where we keep most of our cleaning supplies, cat stuff, and journal odds and ends. This room is typically pretty simple, but what needs to be cleaned really needs to be cleaned. I clean out the litter boxes and litter mat first. Litter won't appear, especially not clumping litter, until the 1950s, but I decided to spare my cats any alternatives such as sand or sawdust. I don't need them forgoing the litter box because I changed stuff up on them. I spot clean the walls with the rag and the bucket of soapy water and give everything good dusting. And finally, I clean the windows. Know how I'm cleaning the windows with only water. You don't want to use soap on your windows because it leaves streaks that are really hard to get off. You need a lot of rinsing to get those soap streaks off, which is why soaping windows was once a very popular prank by hooligans. But all you need is clean water to get all that dirt off. Go over it once, go over it another time with the dry end of the cloth, and your windows are clean. Water, that's all you need. Now it's time to move on to the kitchen. I decided to start with going through all the cabinets and drawers and such and give them a good clean with a rag and soapy water. While I do this, I decide what needs to be kept and what can be given away or trashed. After putting everything back in its place and doing a little bit of rearranging, I move on to the countertops. Once again, I remove everything first, give all the surfaces a good clean with a new rag, and place back what I've decided is worth keeping. Next, I move on to the appliances. Pretend these either aren't here or are their 1900s counterparts. I'm not made of money, okay? Do you know how much a good old-fashioned cook stove alone is nowadays? A few grand before installation. Again, a rag and soapy water will do quite nicely. Clean up the walls while I'm at it, clean the window, and finally I give everything good dusting. Now I go to the living room. This room is pretty simple. This time I decided to start with dusting since there is a lot to be done. Next is tidying up the shelves and deciding what can go. Most of this is Sean's stuff, so I decided to leave it. Next, I spot clean the walls and pick up and put away everything off the floor. These cats are spoiled. Finally, I clean the windows and head on to the bedrooms. The bedrooms and hall are given pretty much the exact same treatment, so I won't bore you with the details. Dust, purge, spot clean the walls, pick up stuff from the floor and windows. Finally is the bathroom. But considering that this room would not have even existed in my house before plumbing became widespread around the 50s, I decided not to include it in this video. I did use old-fashioned cleaning methods to the extent that I could though, promise. I take out the trash and make my way to the backyard. The outside of the house and the backyard should always be included in spring cleaning. Personally, I don't go too crazy about it, so this is usually the easiest part overall. I prune the trees, clear my yard of general debris, and cut the grass. I plant down on a seed mat while I'm at it. Next, I bring in the empty bird feeders and give them a good soak in water and bleach. I'll let these air dry overnight and fill them with seed in the morning. Now that all the dust and dirt has been cleaned or knocked onto the floor, and I am done tramping dirt through the house from the yard work, I can finally get to the floors. I get out my carpet sweeper and sweep all the carpets and rugs. Then I get out my regular sweeper and sweep the hardwood. It's linoleum. Shh. And finally, I mop all the floors. Looking around my house, everything is looking spick and span. The walls are clean, all the surfaces are shining, the floors are debris-free, and it smells very nice. It's got me thinking about modern-day cleaners and cleaning devices. While some appliances would have certainly made the job easier, a vacuum, for example, for the vast majority of my cleaning, just regular soap, water, and wash rags did the job just fine. I didn't need any specialized cleaners, soapy water did wonders, and a little bleach acted perfectly well for disinfectant. I didn't even have to take out the trash after my cleaning like I usually do. Usually my trash can is full of used paper towels, Clorox wipes, and mop pads. But today, just the dirt from the carpet sweeper and stuff that can't be recycled or donated. It's a lot less waste and a lot less money if I keep cleaning like this. In the end, I only add like 3 rags to my hamper.